All right, everybody. Welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. NorCal Sports Network. Giants sweep the Houston Astros and go 5-1 to open the season. Get right to it, but let us thank our sponsor of this show, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs. 415-613-9483. Tell them NorCal Sports Network sent you. Got a personal injury situation? Give Chapman Law Group a call. Wow, everyone. What a start to the season. Dang, this is good. This is good. Giants 5-1. And still in third place as the Padres are 7-0. The Dodgers are 7-0. The Giants have the third best record in all of baseball, and they're in third place. What the heck is that? But hey, exciting, everybody. Exciting. Let's get the band going. Yes, all right, man. I'm fired up. Good baseball. Giants go through the first 6 games. Clean baseball. No errors. Had a possibility. It was first ruled an error earlier in the game on an Alvarez ball that had top spin on it. He hit a smash bullet to first base, went under Casey's glove, and at first base, who's playing his first game ever as a starting at first base. So believe it or not, Giants, they strike out on the road trip quite a bit. The only time they did not strike out was the one game they lost. They struck out one time against Cincinnati in game 2, and they lose that game. So I guess so far the moral of the story is key hits, get some Ks. Today the Giants had a total strikeouts of, let's see, 16 times? Wow. They struck out 16 times, but they won it with a couple of big long balls. Wilmer Flores, we bring in Lou Marston to the show. Wilmer Flores, the big 2-run knock, I should say, to put the Giants up 2-0 in the first inning. And the Giants never relinquished the lead. And then Matos hit a home run there. Let's see. Let me look at the actual situation play by play. Yeah. Wilmer Flores homered after Adames walk, 2-0. And then in the bottom half of the first, Roop shuts him down, shuts the side down, strikes out the side to open up the game. 3 strikeouts. In the top of the second, Matos leads off the inning with a home run, a blast to left center field that just cleared the yellow line. And then Huff lined out, Yaz walked, Fitzgerald walked, and then Ramos doubles them home to left. 6 games for Elliot Ramos and the Giants, 6 games with extra base hits for Elliot Ramos, tying the legendary, the greatest, the GOAT, Willie Mays. How's that? And I've always said that he reminded me, Ramos, physically of Willie Mays. Very similar type body to Willie. The tools are there. I don't think he's Willie Mays by any means. But, heck, if he could give you, just think if he gave you half the production that Willie gave you in his career, he'd have 330 lifetime homers. That would be what a heck of a career. And then in the that was pretty much the scoring for the Giants all the way until the 8th inning when Lamont Wade pinch hit and hit a home run. Good to see Lamont finally get a batting average, and he knocks it out. By the way, the Astros chipped away a little bit. In the bottom of the second, they got a run off a DeCenzo single to center. Pena scored, and then it remained 5-1 until that inning in the bottom of the 5th. Roop got into some trouble. He walked McCormick. Altuve reached on an infield single to third. McCormick to second. Paredes walked, loading the bases, and then Alvarez came up, scorched the ball, went under Casey's glove. Then Walker, Randy Rodriguez. What can you say about Randy Rodriguez? Randy Rodriguez comes in and shuts down a Astros rally in the 5th, and they only get 2, remains 5-3. Final score 6-3 on the Lamont Wade home run. The Giants bullpen, again, Hayden Birdsong looked good. Randy Rodriguez looked good. Tyler Rogers looked good. And Camilo Duvall, what can you say? Another 1-2-3 ninth for his second save of the year. Giants go to 5-1. I was just saying before you came on, Lou, Giants had the 3rd best record in all of Major League Baseball, and they're in 3rd place in the division. Padres and Dodgers both 7-0.
Yeah, sorry I was late. It was your producer. He had somebody show up with rubber boots and cement and said, "Where in the hell's my money?" So I wanted to take care of it so I don't have to hear from him again. That's why I was late.
Okay.
Like I said, hey, I'll get it by the end of the day. Relax. But no, hey, I think, 2 things you brought up, and I just want to follow up. First of all, one great thing about this road trip, shut down innings. And I think we really talked about this last year where the Giants would score 2, then they'd give up 1 or they give up 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. They score. They've had every time they've gotten the lead, it's been a shutdown inning, which is huge. And that's huge success for the pitching. So I'm going to give them total credit for that. And the other thing I thought, and you brought up Rodriguez, boy, that was stud material because you almost felt like it was tilting the wrong way. And I love what they did after he did it. Verlander first came up, gave him a hug, said, "Hey, dude, job well done." And that's really what it's all about. So, I see we have some chats too.
Yeah, we'll get to the chats. We bring in Low Stee. Big win again. Giants go 5-1 on the trip. They come home to Oracle on Friday. Should be an exciting opening day in San Francisco as the Giants sitting with the 3rd best record in all of baseball, but sitting in 3rd place in the National League West. They are in the wrong division, it looks like. But I want to get to a couple of these comments. First, let's get to the paid chats. And Tommy Huxley, he's calling Rogers. Frogers won't make – Frogers, Dodgers. I thought you meant won't make the World Series. BC is broke. Okay, $2 for that. Kevin Bodan says, "Is Lou all right? He predicted 2-4 and even 1-5 the first 6 games." Hey, sometimes you make predictions. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're wrong. But thanks for the 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Lou, are you? Do you need counseling or anything for being wrong for the first few games of the season? Just checking.
No, I'm good.
I think we're okay.
There's still 156 games more.
Yeah.
But I'm wrong. Hey, it makes the show better. It makes the Giants better. And, I think, with opening day, it's too bad they're off tomorrow. But, the build-up for opening day will be bigger and better for Friday.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it should be an exciting opening day. I want to get to one of the comments. Let's see. Where was it? Somebody mentioned in the chat, I want to say it was Anthony Kitchen Handy. Spencer says he called this. Okay. All right. I called a 3-3 start. I did not see 5-1 coming, but you know what? We'll take it. I did call a winning season, so we'll see. Hopefully that continues. There was a comment in here that somebody said that, Dan, what's wrong with you? Birdsong did not pitch well. He didn't give up any runs, so he gave up a couple of hits. Well, Birdsong, what did he do? Here's what he did. He came in the bottom of the sixth, got a single by Rogers. That was, I think that was the play where he beat it out at first, maybe. Descendo grounded into a fielder's choice. McCormick struck out swinging. Altuve singled to right. He just punched it into right, reached out. Paredes flied out to center. Wasn't 1, 2, 3, but I'll take it. Bottom of the seventh, Altuve walked, struck out Walker. Diaz fouled out to the catcher. Pena lined out to third. What do you want him to do? Pitch to 6 guys and strike out 6 guys on 18 pitches? I mean, what do you guys want?
Right.
I
don't get you guys sometimes. It's like if a guy's
got batters, his job, he held the lead.
He didn't give up any runs. His ERA is 0, Anthony. 0. Can you get any better than 0?
And just for the record, if you guys are going to come after anybody, come after me, because Dan had him at 86 and 76. I think Lou had him probably a
85.
little slightly over
85.
85. Lou had him slightly, I think, over 500. I had him at about 77 or 78 wins. So I have him under 500. So if you're going to come after anybody after 6 games in the season, repeat that, 6 games in the season, come after me, because I'm the one that was the most pessimistic about the Giants.
What cracks me up with some of you guys out there that come at me, like last year, I said Giants are going to be under 500, and then they'd win 4 or 5 in a row, and I'd deal with people on Twitter. Oh, where are you at now, old man? Oh, yeah. I said, just relax and wait, and you'll see. And, you guys make a prediction, and you gloat because you were right, and good for you. I'm glad you're right, but start up a show and make your own prediction and come out and see how well you do.
Thank you. Or show us your gambling receipts and show us how many times you've won compared to how many times you've lost. And Lou will, review that, because he's an expert at that. And we'll see how well your predictions go when it comes to actually putting your money where your mouth is. So
yeah, exactly. I bet the over for the Giants. I also put $5 on them to win the World Series at 1,000 to 1. So, I don't feel confident of that bet, but you know what? For $5, and they're going to throw out 1,000 to 1 odds, I'll take it. And if the odds are still 1,000 to 1, I might bet another $5. In fact, let me see here. I'll take my winnings here, guys. Here's my bet today. I had a bet today. Where's my bets? Oh, those are settled. How's that one right there? Can't quite see it. I took the over up in Sacramento, 8.5 runs, $50, 149. Did the over last night, $35. Won. What did I win last night? I won 15. I won about $38 last night. I've got the Giants. So, you know what? I'm going to check those lines. Let me check those. If you think they're still 1,000 to 1 at this point?
Yeah, maybe 900. But we have to look at perspective of what's going on. Absolutely. Right now, Wilmer Flores is probably the National League MVP.
Yeah.
If you guys think he's going to be the MVP of the season, please go put your hard money on that bet for the season. I heard they give that award for the season, not after 6 games. But for the Giants to maintain what they're doing, I personally think their pitching is going to be there all year long.
8,000 to 1. It came down from 1,000. Came down 10,000 to 8,000. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all think in our agreement that the Giants pitching is going to be there all year long. Their bullpen is is really strong. I mean, they got like really 4 closers in their bullpen. Like Randy Rodriguez is pretty filthy. He could be a closer on a team. He could be a closer on this team if for some reason something happened to Walker or Duvall. So their bullpen is really strong. Their starting rotation looks very good. I wouldn't say great. I would say a little above good. I'd say very good. The lineup, I think, it's hot right now. It's coming through with men in scoring position, not relying on the homer, which we always preach. But let's see. I want to see how they hit at home. Oracle's not a hitting ballpark. So let's see if Wilmer's all of a sudden hitting bombs. And if he hits a bomb in the home opener, you guys will come on here and say we're wrong again. But we're just giving you realistic analysis about, we know what the resume of this team has been, this lineup specifically, and we just need to see it for a little bit longer. I mean, I hope to God we are wrong, and I hope they continue this. I think the Giants are a first baseman away from being a really serious contender. Like if they were to make a trade for a legitimate 25 to 30 homer and decent RBI guy, I think they would be a real contender. I still don't think they're a contender right now as we speak, but they're off to a good start, and we're enjoying it.
I agree. I
We're
agree.
enjoying it.
You know, it's one of those things. I guess we lost Dan. He's back. There he is.
You're
And he's
muted.
I had to change. I had a longer sleeve on, and it was raining earlier a little bit, and I was outside, and now it's warming back up. So it's just like I can't sweat on this for the rest of the time. So, no, but I mean, you can't ask for a better start. 6 games, no errors. I do see Johnny T16 says Birdsong is fine. What I didn't like is Schmitt at first base. I said it last night. Let's please not sacrifice defense. It's what is winning us games right now. Look, I think Casey's, it's a combination of, first start in the field all year long. First time he's ever played first base in the big leagues. He looked a little bit, I don't want to say, he didn't look as comfortable as you might think he would feel at third base or even second base. But I think he'll get there because it's a hot corner when you're facing a lefty. And keep in mind, he's playing in at the bag because he's covering first base on that. If that's a shot where he's playing back, he probably gets in front of that and just scoops it up like a third baseman, Yeah. But he had to come off the bag and then try to backhand it, and he's not used to it. I'm not sure if Flores gets it. Maybe he does. Maybe Wade does. I don't know. But I kind of like the idea of experimenting early on in the season because you get a chance to see what guys can do. Certain things happen. I kind of like the idea of Wilmer being a DH and not using him out in the field. I think that will help his bat do better. Wilmer is a guy that can wear down very easily and quickly. So I think if you're going to have Casey instead of Casey DHing, I like what they did. I really do. I think Casey will pick the position up because he's a natural athletic, third baseman. He can play short. He's just got to learn the position and give him a few extra starts there, and I think he'll be fine. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's Casey's way to kind of get into the lineup is to just be a utility guy. It's probably not his choice. He's a third baseman. And yeah, it does come off of the bat different, and it is a different angle. If he was at third base on that line drive, we've seen Casey do this many, many times before. He just gets in front of it and knocks it down. Maybe he doesn't come up with it cleanly, but he knocks it down and keeps that run from scoring. But yeah, he did an Olay at first on that one, and he'll get better. It's a new position to him, so we got to cut him a little bit slack.
Yeah,
there.
I think so. And he said he missed a dig today. That was a throw that was to the right field side of first base. He had to stretch, keep his foot on the bag, reach. Yeah, give him some time. I mean, it's if he continues to make mistakes out there and cost you games or doesn't look like he's going to catch on, then the Giants need to either go out and get a first baseman, or they're going to have to play Wilmer there, because they're not playing Wade against left-handed pitchers. They're just not. So you can't, there was first baseman available, but the Giants didn't go that route. So we'll see how this goes.
Hey, Dan.
Yes.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed how the chat can say how bad we are and we're wrong, but I've never seen a chat be so negative when we're 5-1. Well, you guys nitpick, expect perfection. My God, we're 5-1. We should celebrate, not come back with all these negatives. My God,
this has been building up for.
Yeah.
Who's negative? Who's negative? Who's negative?
Oh, these guys on the chat. Birdsong, what's wrong with him? Why is Schmitt at first? My God, we're winning. We should be celebrating. So
I think our chat, for the better, Dan, you know this, for the better part of 2.5 years, myself and Dan, have been here from the get-go, and who you've been here for a little while. Eric was here obviously for, some time. We were pretty down on the Giants from the beginning, and we were right. And we were going to pat ourselves on the back for being right over a course of 2.5, 3 years. So this is the chat's opportunity after 6 games to kind of give it back at us, the ones that have been here a long time, and some of the newer people, because they've been hearing us talk about, kind of a little pessimistically or cautiously optimistic about the Giants, not completely all in. So, and they're going to have this is their week to gloat. So let them gloat. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, we're all happy that the Giants are doing well. It's not about being right or wrong. This is just what we see. This is what we observe. And like Dan said, you all have the opportunity to start your own channel, come up with your own expectations and your, guesses and your expertise. And then your chat can say, on the day that you're wrong, man.
Hey, look, as
we
I
can
say,
take it. We're thick skin. We can take it, man.
As I can say, there was only one perfect person in the entire history of the world, and they put him on a cross. Okay, they killed him. They crucified him because they didn't like his perfection. So, look, this is all about, it is content. Absolutely, we try and put out the very best content. We give you our views. I said I thought this team would be a much better team, a more entertaining team, a more enjoyable team to watch. They haven't proved any of us wrong on that. Aaron, I love it. Aaron's always, I still say they go 6-1.
Attaboy. Well, one thing you guys have selective memories on is that Dan said before the season started that he thought that getting rid of Farhan and being able to have positive, mental attitude about not having a guy back there that, kept having guys, platoon, to the T, black and white. There was no gray area. You're starting against these guys. You're starting against these guys, young guys going up and down. Dan said that from the very get-go, that mentally, at least, having him out of the building, having Posey as a positive reinforcement mentally, and a guy that has done it and played the game as your leader as opposed to a computer geek, is going to go a long way. So he called that, and he was right. Whether that's paying off and that's the reason they're 5-1, yeah, it's a reason. It is definitely a reason. Execution is obviously another reason. So you're going to come at him, you got to give him credit for being right as well.
Yeah,
because I didn't say that. I don't believe Lou said that. Dan did say that. So, kudos.
Yeah, look, guys, we're make predictions. We make bets. Nobody wins. If anybody is that good, they would just bet all the time, and they would be, instead of a day trader, they'd be a day better, and they would just be living off their winnings. It's not easy to make predictions, but what kind of show would it be if we didn't make predictions? If we just came out here and, Giants won today, 6-3, home runs by Wilmer Flores is 4th of the year, and Luis Matos. Pitching was fine by Landon Roop, he struck out over 8 batters, and he looked really good. Thank you for watching the show, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with a recap. How would you love that show? I mean,
it would be quite boring if we were right all the time and made every prediction we made was on the money. Sorry, but the three of us don't have Biff from Back to the Future's encyclopedia to predict every sport and every game. I would love to. Lou, I would be betting a lot of 50-1 shots that I read in that magazine to win.
Yeah.
Putting $1,000 on them. But hey, that's what makes it fun, guys. Like, we sit up here and host the show, and you guys come in, and sometimes you guys are way more right than we are. And look, that's okay. That's the back and forth. That's cool.
I'll say this. I will put NorCal Sports Network up with any show on YouTube, any radio station in the Bay Area, any sports writer. Look, when Pavlovic and Slusser and all those yahoos were out there yelling about the Giants going to be good this year, in the last couple of years, we told them, no, what are you looking at? When other YouTubers that don't even cover the Giants, they'll jump on the bandwagon. Look, we've been covering the Giants since we started this show, and we have nailed it. We're going to miss, but I'll tell you what, I'll put my ball skills, knowledge, Los, Bora, and Lou up against anybody out there that's talking, because, we've all played the game, and, we call it as we see it. I think we have the very best Giants coverage out there. Where else are you going to get people calling for Farhan's head 2 years ago in 23 season? The 23 season, I was calling for Farhan's head. In fact, I was starting to call for it in late 22. And in 23, I says, you got to get rid of this guy. What'd they do? They run it back one more year after firing Gabe. Nobody else was calling for Farhan's job. We were, and we were right. And I told you that once they get rid of Farhan and get that dude's rear end completely out of the building, out of San Francisco, get him just out of the Bay Area, that the Giants will start to be a more entertaining team. I still don't think this team, makes the playoffs, but you know what? They could. They very well could. But
just a reminder.
Long season.
Correct. And just a reminder, the Dodgers and the Padres, they're playing pretty well. They just happen to be in the Giants division. Let's see how they stack up when they go up against those two monsters. But yeah, and I would even take it a step further, Dan. I think we know our football. I think we've been pretty on spot with the Niners, and we're on spot with the Warriors too. That's why it's called NorCal Sports Network. We're well rounded. We're flexible.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, come on. And you know what? If we all have the same takes, it's kind of boring. So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, look, Lou had a different take on the Warriors this year. He was wrong. I had a different take on the Niners. Lou was right. I was wrong. But if we just all sit here and go, oh, we're all lock, stock and barrel in the same exact cookie cutter answers. No, we want to give you different variety. Los may still, hey, you don't know what's going to happen. This Giants team could fall on its face with injuries. If I can tell you this, I've said that they would win and go 86 and 76 based on their health. If they have a lot of injuries, everything could fall apart. And I also said they can win 90 games if they're doing well at the trade deadline and this team is playing like it appears it may play this year, and Posey makes a deal to get this team a hitter. I still tell you they're a hitter away, at least, from being a true contending team. This lineup is winning now, but it's winning on pitching. There's going to be days when pitching lets you down, and if they don't score the runs, they could lose. They can easily go. They're 5-1. They could easily go 1-5 in a 6-game stretch. And I will say this: here's my promise to you. Not, I shouldn't say promise, but here's my Here's what I am going to tell you. They will have a stretch where they go 1-5. Okay. They will have a stretch where they go 1-5 this year. Mark it down.
And let's expand on that. Let's just talk about, you just said it, health. As optimistic as even the great Robert Rothberg is in here, who, by the way, said he's a great predictor. No, you're not. The last 3 years, you've been dead wrong. But anyway, let's talk about the Giants' depth. Okay, already we're 6 games into the season. Profar is out, suspended because of roids. Trey Turner's back's bugging him. Reynaldo Lopez of the Braves is going under the knife. It's my fantasy guy. That sucks.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So injuries with these guys that are so, muscular and so put together, is just part of the game. So guys are already going down. So let's focus on the Giants. What Dan said is absolutely spot on. This team is not a deep team. Let's say Chapman gets hurt. What's going to happen? Let's say Willie Adames gets hurt. God forbid it happens. Nobody wants that to happen. But this is not a deep team. If this team stays healthy and if guys play above what they, are expected to do, they're going to be in contention. They get a first baseman, another hitter, like Dan and Lou said, then we really got something going. But if this team starts getting injured with some key injuries, this team is going to go down. So it's going to spiral. They do not have a lot of good depth.
Aaron. Dan, Lou, and Los are sometimes right and sometimes wrong. Robert Rothberg is never right and always wrong. Robert's got 90 wins. This may be your year, Robert.
That's so funny is Robert will be wrong 3 straight years. But that one year that he's kind of right, he'll be like, see, I told you guys I was right all this time, man.
It's okay. Hey, Robert, man, every channel, every YouTube channel needs a Robert Rothberg. Every state, every country needs a Robert Rothberg. Every state needs a Robert Rothberg. Every city needs a Robert Rothberg. And every family needs a Robert Rothberg. That guy is as gold as you could get when it comes to encouragement, man. I'm telling you, if I had Robert Rothberg growing up as my dad, maybe I'd be even a little bit more confident in some things because I would have been like, yeah, I did wrong, but there's my dad telling me, I believe in you, son.
This would definitely be a better country if we all thought like Robert Rothberg, completely optimistic and treating people with respect. Robert has disagreed with us many, many times, but he's never disrespected any of the hosts on this show, ever. Yes. So he always gets love for that. But I mean, going back to my point, Lou, if the Giants, would you consider a deep team compared to other rosters around Major League Baseball?
If you remember, I think Yaz the last 2 years been on the DL 6 times for the same thing. A hamstring problem, pull groin, the same thing over and over. In fact, me and Dan said, forget about getting rid of Farhan. How about getting rid of the doctors? Who's in charge? Because it just kept happening. So, and again, it's very early. Giants are exciting, which is great. But you know what? We could look a month from now and say, God, the Giants got off to a great start. Let's see how the Reds in Houston are. You never know. Everybody starts good. And then when you look, right now in the standings, I know we're better than Miami Marlins. I mean, they're right now in first place. But I think you bring up a great point. It's all about health. And I think with the Giants is you think you have enough depth until you really need it. And, right now we look great on paper. And I think, Dan brings up a great point. We are playing air free, but boy, that could change. And then, that's one great point about Dan. Oh my God, now we have 2 or 3 airs. And Los, you bring up a great point. They're hitting on the road, but 2 pretty nice parks to hit in. Now let's see their home park where they got to play 81 games. Can Ramos get a hit on Friday so he has 7 games in a row with an extra base hit? Can we get the long ball? And can we get the shutdown innings? So, there's still a lot of question marks, but I think we've answered a few, which is a great way to start the season.
Absolutely. And those balls that Wilmer hit out, I don't think any of them. Maybe one might be going out of Oracle. I think all of them are going to be caught at the wall. And those are facts. It's not a great hitter's park, and if they hit the ball to center field and right center, they're not going anywhere unless they're hit 430 feet. So let's see. The Giants, in order to keep winning, have to play situational baseball. Maybe if Melvin is smart, he realizes when they get home and it's first and second that they're not at Cincinnati anymore. They're not at Houston anymore. Hey, lay down a bunt. It's okay. Play small ball. Move them over. Move them over to second and third. And if you get a sac fly, get a run in. With this pitching staff, you don't need to score 6 or 7 runs to win games. They can win a lot of games 5-3, 4-2. So play small ball in our home ballpark. If I see Melvin doing that, because I'm not the biggest Melvin fan, but if I see Melvin adjusting at home and not thinking, boy, we hit the ball great on the road, this is going to carry over and hit it home. No, man, it won't. Those balls are going to be outs. So be smart, play situational baseball, and play small ball if you need to. Like I said, I believe in the pitching staff. I think all of us do. So that's how you play the game, and that's how you strategize.
And let's point out one other thing here about the Giants, what D-Loading's saying. Of course, they're going to have down parts of the year, but it's important they're playing good now. All they can do is try to win these early ones, help hold them when they start losing. Absolutely. And one thing that's really great that we can talk about, they are playing some small ball. They are moving the runners up. They are doing the right things right now. They do look more fundamentally sound, like these things were worked on in the off season. So I think it's really important. Hold on, what's going on here? Why are we doing this? Okay, so I do think the team looks better. I think Willy Adames, he provides something, not just what he can do on the field, but he's providing that enthusiasm that has so been lacking. Probably since Hunter Pence has retired, the Giants haven't had that guy that. And the great thing about Adames is Pence was great, but Adames can actually fire up, the Latin players and the non-Latin players, because he's fluent both in English and in Spanish. And a lot of these Spanish guys that the Giants have, like Matos and Rodriguez and some of the other guys, very young players. And you got a veteran that can speak to you in your native language. It makes a big difference when, and then you see Verlander getting fired up when Rodriguez comes off the mound after he blows down the Astros in a shutdown inning, and Verlander's giving him the pumped up fist. Those are important. Those things are important. And this team lacked that. Farhan's definition of a stinking veteran was a guy like A.J. Pollock that was coming on, that didn't, there was nothing. Verlander's a Hall of Famer, okay? Willy Adames had a great year last year and has been an established big leaguer for quite a while. Matt Chapman, signed to the big deal, is a veteran player who's a leader. Okay, these are important when it comes to winning, setting up a culture. Okay, and they have not had a leader in the clubhouse since Buster retired. And it's no coincidence that this team is playing better, fundamentally sound baseball. Look, they can play the most fundamentally sound baseball all year long, and they're still going to lose 50 games. Okay? Every team except maybe the Dodgers will lose 50 games this year. Okay? 29 out of 30 teams. It's pretty much mark it down, guaranteed. You're going to lose 50, you're going to win 50. What happens in the other 62? Okay? My philosophy, and I've said this before on the show, is simply play 500 ball on the road and play 600 ball at home, and that gets you 90 wins. Okay? And right now the Giants are playing what kind of ball is 5 out of 6? All I have to do is look at the standings, but it's 833 ball. Okay. They got a good start. That's good. They're building a cushion. So this is a team that has got a lot of pieces. Don't think that the addition of Willie Adames, whether he's showing up on the field, he's playing good defense. Bat hasn't totally showed up yet, but having that guy on the bench that gets guys pumped up, we all needed a guy like that when we played ball, right? I think Los might have been that guy. I was kind of that guy. Lou, you were probably yelling at everybody. Come on, catch that ball. Lou
would antagonize the other team. Lou, did you say you caught Lou?
Yeah.
Lou would be like that guy from Major League. He'd be like, the guy would be coming up to hit right before the pitch came and says, like, yeah, I got pictures of your wife in my wall. And right as the pitch comes in, pop up. Lou would antagonize the other.
Tell us what you said, Lou. What you used to say to guys that come up to the bat? What were some of the things you remember?
Well, I mean, you got to remember in high school, and especially I say 7th, 8th grade, none of us boys were really matured yet. So they'd be sticks, and I'd say, my God, I hope the vibration, you don't break. By the way, you just talk smack, but more about their body features, Hey, are you going to go home and play Dungeons and Dragons? What are you doing out here? Do you even know the rules? And they're like, what the hell? And then my biggest thing is after, because we had a couple big guys that threw, probably about 80, grammar school, probably 75. And, even in the police league, PAL, they threw good heat. And these guys, like after every third strike, my God, I'm lucky I even caught that. That ball was so fast. Good luck next time. And then I throw it back to the pitcher and call everybody in. And then they get more frustrated the second time, because they'd hear you the first time after they strike out. And then, a lot of times you have the umpire literally on your back. So I talk, oh my God, I guess it's your birthday. The umpire gave you a gift, and throw the ball back. And the guy, he would understand that was actually strike 3. Then the umpire goes, hey, cool it. And I said, I wasn't even talking to you. I was talking to him. I'm dating his sister, or something like that. Just, you got to have a little fun, because it's hard to get in that crotch every time you have the equipment. A lot of times you're hot as sweating bullets, and
it would have been.
I think me and Lou might have got into it back in high school, because remember, Lou's a St. Ignatius guy. I'm a Sacred Heart guy. We're very big rivals in high school at that time, and
I dated a girl from Cathedral at that time. Right.
Yes, and then there's that. But I was a little bit of a hothead back in the day, surprisingly.
It happens.
So if Lou was trying to talk to me, I mean, in my career against St. Ignatius, I was 10-2 against them. Like, I was on some really good baseball teams in the mid '80s for Sacred Heart, especially the varsity team.
I might have stepped back in the box a little bit and kind of, if Lou was talking to me, and maybe extended my swing a little bit.
And just clip that helmet, batting helmet.
Oh yeah,
or catcher's mask.
Yeah. Catcher's interference.
No, but I could just see Lou saying something to me, and I'd probably say, "What'd you say?" Yeah,
you got to do it at the right time. There's times to do it.
Yeah, it was a good rivalry. So, but no,
okay,
I mean,
Fosse, you got your request for Ryan. Answered you, Fosse. There you go.
But Dan, you bring up a point about the emotion of the game. I personally love that emotion as part of baseball, because for the longest time and for so many years, it was such a stoic game. You couldn't show up. You hit a home run, you just drop. You do your Matt Williams, you just drop your head and you just run around the bases. But I love the emotion that's part of the game, and part of that is the Latin influx in the game, and part of that is the Asian influx that's coming to the game internationally. So I think the Giants are still, even with the little more emotion that Willie Adames is bringing, is still one of the few teams that when they hit a homer, they don't have any kind of like propaganda go to. I wish there used to be this lady that would sing the national anthem
Yes.
or San Francisco, open your gun. And she used to wear this hat and it had like a picture of the bridge on it. Like somebody recreate that hat. I don't know, a bridge or a big cloud of fog, something that symbolizes the city, and have one of Giants. I personally love when somebody like throws on, who was it? Like a Viking robe or something like that for the Twins. That was sick.
Yeah.
I love that. You could be very creative with it. It could be a robe, it could be a hat, it could be a chain. But yeah, somebody come up with that idea and have the Giants do that when they hit a home run.
Yeah,
that would be
nice.
fun.
Hey,
that would be fun.
I mean, Melvin seems to be pulling the right strings already this year. He pinch hits for Schmitt in the 8th, and Wade gets the pinch hit home run to give you a little bit more cushion than a 2-run lead. I kind of got the lineup pretty close today. I said there would be no left-handed batters. They threw Yaz in there, which was interesting. I did predict Lee would sit down today. I thought that was a good day off for Lee, just to give him a little time, his back, whatever he's, had in spring training, gives him 2 full days off. Matos pays off by getting 2 hits. Matos 2 for 3, leading the team now in batting average at 400. Yes, it's very early, but Matos has played like 3 or 4 games out of the 6 now. Yaz was 0 for 3 today. He was hitting over 400. At this time of the year, your average fluctuates by 100 points a game. It can, just or more. But yeah, it was, Friday's game. I believe Friday's game. I know it's Verlander for the Giants. Let's take a look and see who Seattle's got a really solid rotation.
Yeah.
So they're probably facing Miller is my guess. Let's see.
Yeah, Mark Beach Blanket Babylon.
Yeah,
They
that was it. That was it. While you're looking for that, Dan, real quick, let me respond to Robert Rothberg. Robert, I had him at 78 wins, four games under 500.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be political and change my answer right now. I'm sticking with that. So
yeah.
Call me out on it if you want.
Yeah. But yeah, it's only 6 games. So yeah, let's just, I'm not changing. Everybody wants me to change mine. I'm not changing, I'm sticking with 86.
I'm not changing. When the Niners were winning a few games, remember Lou, I still had them at like 8 wins or something like that. And everybody was like ripping me. And then all of a sudden came that 4 out of 5
reality.
So I'm in it for the long run, guys. Please be here in July and August.
Yeah, Bryce Miller going on Friday against Justin Verlander. Bryce Miller's on my fantasy, one of my fantasy leagues. It's like, shoot, you don't want a guy to get blitzed, but you want. I guess what I want is Bryce Miller to pitch really well, but the Giants somehow get the win. That would be good.
Dan, what kind of contract did Brent Rooker sign with the A's?
Oh yeah,
wasn't it
reasonable?
reasonable?
It was an extension. It was an extension.
Yeah,
it was 6 years,
reasonable.
78 million, maybe 13 million a year.
How would Brent Rooker look in this lineup in the Giants?
And it
lineup?
took 2 years off his.
How would you like Brent Rooker as our DH or our left fielder and Ramos and right? Ooh,
yeah.
I love Rooker, man. God,
yeah.
That's
he hit a bomb today. He hit a bomb today.
I know.
Easy money up in sack. Take the over. I shouldn't tell everybody if they all start taking the over, they're going to start moving the changing the odds. D Loading says Melvin looks like he's managed without the idiot Farhan breathing over his shoulder. He's making more moves that feel in the realm of a guy who's actually played the game. Absolutely. I told you guys, I called that one very early on. In fact, I put a tweet out on it. If you follow me on Twitter, it's going to be able to run the club so much differently. I mean, this is a different ball club. I'm telling you guys, anybody who liked Farhan, hey, whatever, good for you. Maybe you know him as a family guy. Maybe, Farhan, I'm sure he's a great guy, but he's He was an awful executive. I think Farhan's probably a good number 2 or 3 man. I say 3 man. Farhan's a good number 3 guy that does all the research that Zach Meneason was for the Giants before he got promoted to GM. He was the guy that had to know everything about every player. I mean, that's Farhan's specialty. But you have no decision-making power. Zero. All you do is present somebody with, hey, look at this guy. He's doing this and this at AAA or AA. You might want to take a look at him. And then the general manager says, okay, well, let me study him a little bit. Farhan making the decisions, terrible. Absolutely terrible. And look, I know that none of these Giant guys, this is what makes NorCal different from all the other shows, because Pavlovic couldn't go out and say he sucks. Farhan sucks. What are you doing carrying this guy? The announcers can't. There's a professionalism that they have to carry, and I get that. I'm not there. Now, if you put me on the payroll for the Giants, I would toe the line and talk and have talk more diplomatically about some of these guys. Okay. But I'm not on no payroll, so I can tell you what's honestly going on. That's why if you want what you're going to get from Pavlovic and those guys, you're going to get the news before I get it, because they're insiders. They'll give you the news, but they're not going to be able to give you the honest breakdown of they're not going to be overly critical. They're going to err on the side of being optimistic about. They're going to be Robert Rothbergs for the most part. And, I would last 6 days. You think I can make it a full week, Dallas? I think maybe I'd last 3 days on the payroll. Yeah. No, I mean, but you know what? It's just a lot of it comes from, I mean, I played football, I played basketball, and I played baseball, but baseball is kind of my wheelhouse, so to speak, because I had one of the greatest coaches as a 9-year-old, and I had him for 4 years. He didn't have a son on the team. He wasn't coaching because his son was a coach. The dude coached for 30 years, the same team, for the love of the game, and he's in the Little League Hall of Fame. And I learned so much about baseball that it was just, I think it's why I have such a passion and a love for the game. And I see things differently because I see things from a fundamental standpoint. And that's why I think the Giants are a better team this year, because they're going to play more sound baseball. And that's what Buster brings to the table. Look, Buster doesn't have to be a yeller and a screamer to get things done. He says things and people know he means business. And if you don't do what Buster tells you to do, he's not going to yell and scream. He'll just, you just won't be there.
The Giants have to know, and we talked about this many, many times, again, like who are they? What is their identity? And I think maybe they're finally starting to figure out what their identity is. They're not a power hitting team. They're not going to outslug you and win a lot of 12 to 10 games. They're not a team that has a ton of speed where, you can get on base, steal second, steal third, get in with a sacrifice fly. They're a team that has to play fundamentally right. They have to hit the cutoff man. They have to hit behind the runner. They have to do the old school fundamental things that they work 6 weeks in spring training for. And I think you're right. I think maybe they focused on that more than they have in a long time, because they knew they know they're undermanned. They know they cannot match up player for player against the Padres, the Diamondbacks, or even Dodgers. They can't. If you think that's the case, you're wrong. They don't match up roster-wise. But we have always said on this show, baseball is the one game where it does not matter if another team has more talent. Like, you can hit 9 line drives and it could be 9 outs, and you can hit 3, 4 or 5 bloopers that fall in and win 2-0. Baseball is the equalizer as far as talent goes. So if the Giants play the game the right way, keep games close, and get it to their bullpen, which may be the best bullpen in the division, maybe the National League, we'll see. They have a really good chance to win a lot of games.
Yeah, good point, Los. And as I look at the one possibility as what George says, hopefully Buster continues to evaluate the roster and looks to improve the roster, is more proactive than reactive, and overpaying for mediocre players. We need that impact player that teams fear. Who would that guy be? The guy that comes off the top of my head is Vladdy Guerrero, would be the guy that might be available at the trade deadline if Toronto is not in the race. But
Dan, me and you talked off camera about the Giants. I think missed the boat on Josh Naylor. I mean, another left-handed
Yes.
bat, an RBI bat in the middle of that order would have been really good, and he was very reasonable. He did not cost a lot of money, but
$10 million only.
Yeah, they're paying $1 million less to Yaz. You could have Josh Naylor as your everyday first baseman. I mean, that was a miss right there. But moving forward, can't fix the past. I think if they're going to go after a first baseman, who's a first baseman now? I love Vladdy. If Vladdy can come, that would be option number one. But if it can't be him, is there maybe a really, really solid left-handed middle of the order bat out there that can play first baseman? That can play first base. That
What
might
about
be
this?
available.
What about this guy with Cleveland, Manzado? Is he a lefty? That's who took the place of Naylor, I guess, right? Manzado. There's guys in the Kansas City. You might be able to get a Vinny Pasquantino if Jack Caglione comes up.
I like that. I like him. That's a good move right there. He's not necessarily he's a gap hitter, which is perfect for the ballpark. And he's a good hitter. He's a 260, 270 hitter.
I expect Jack Caglione to come up and take that job in about a month or two. I was going to grab him in our league as an NA, and somebody beat me to it by an hour or two.
Santander would have been an interesting one too. Switch hitter, he could play first. He could play.
Yeah, I don't mind not having a lot of money for a guy that is hit 44 homers after on a contract year. We'll see what he does this year. I like to see. I don't know. I like some of these young guys. That's why I say, I mean, you might be able to get. He's not much of a power hitter. Tristan Casas with Boston.
Yeah. Boston's going to be in contention, though. I don't know if they're going to get rid of him.
How about could Devers play first base?
Yeah. There's a kid I've heard named Bryce Eldridge that maybe he starts swinging crazily in the next couple of months, and maybe he gets the call up. He can never make up for the $20 I lost, but he can come up and help the Giants for sure.
Mountcastle, I've got him on a team with Baltimore. Kobe Mayo is a guy that could push the issue with Mountcastle, or maybe Baltimore wants to trade a Kobe Mayo. I think what you really need, I don't think you can go build around Kobe Mayo in the middle of the season. You got to get an established hitter, a guy that has been in the big leagues.
George Curry brings up an interesting name. I don't think Atlanta's going to struggle. I know they don't have a win now, but when they get Acuna and they get Strider back, I can't see Atlanta struggling. But let's just say they are 500 and maybe they're not quite contending. Maybe they want to come off of Matt Olson, who has a pretty big contract. I don't know if they have a minor leaguer that would be a replacement, but
I would do that in a heartbeat, and I would say, okay, Bryce, we're going to find a different position for you.
Oh no. Because Matt Olson's got a good glove too. He's not just
Bryce can play the outfield. Okay. He could play left field easily at in San Francisco. And then you just move Ramos over to right field, and you still got Matos. You can look. You could trade a Matos. You could trade a Lee. You could trade a. I always would rather be in a position where I got a problem. Like, darn, I don't know who to play. I've got too many guys and not enough positions. That's always a thing you can figure out.
It's a good problem to have. More talent on your roster. Clay Bellinger would have been a nice one too. He's doing well so far with the Yankees.
Yeah. What do you guys think of these torpedo bats? Think the Giants should order some torpedo bats?
Why not?
They might need them at Oracle.
They're going to definitely need them for a little bit more power at Oracle. Couldn't hurt. Hey, whoever came up with that is going to be a rich man here pretty soon. Because like anything economically, if there's a demand for it, that price that the Yankees paid is no longer available.
Yeah,
the price has gone up.
Maybe the Giants can get a discount. Kurt Ainsworth is the president of the company that makes them. He came up with the Giants.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, I was talking to Ned. He's a pitcher. I was talking to Ned Coletti the other day about him. I said, you remember? I sent him an article on Kurt Ainsworth. He says, "Oh yeah, love Kurt." Yeah. In fact, funny story. Kurt Ainsworth's wife's maiden name was Coletti. Wow. From the same area that some of Ned's family came from. So I don't know if they're related or not, but pretty interesting. So he might be I don't know if he's the guy. His company manufactures these bats. I don't know who designed, if somebody designed them and told them, hey, this is what we want, whatever, but that's pretty cool.
I don't know if you guys are watching all the games. I mean, if you're in fantasy, you just watch, you go from game to game. I don't know if you guys are picking up on this, but the shift is no longer allowed. Right. But especially when right-handers are at the plate, the second baseman is as far to the left, to his right, to the batter's left, and as close to second base as I've ever seen.
Oh, that 3-4 hole's wide open.
That hole between second and first for right-handed hitters is wide open. And
it's all Tuve do it today.
And yeah, exactly. When he hit that ball off the end of the bat, I'm thinking to myself, that's an out, because where the trajectory of the ball was going is where a second baseman usually plays. Right. But again, because fielders know hitters do not go the opposite way as right-handed hitters as much as they used to, that they can cheat. Now think about this, guys. We all played ball, and we always were taught, hey, good things will happen when you hit the ball up the middle. Not anymore. Man, every time you see a line drive or a ball hit up the middle, and you're thinking that's a base hit. Nope, there's a guy right there. So you have to adjust as hitters, and that's what I'm talking about. Is today's hitter capable of doing that? I think they are, but they got to put the time in and be able to do that.
I thought one of the I wouldn't say keys to the game, but an area that the Giants didn't come through today. That was I'm trying to think of the inning. I'll look it up. Chapman, I think it was around the 4th or 5th inning. It was maybe it was the 7th. What inning was it? Chapman came up and got on base, and the ball was, that was the 3rd inning. They were up 5-1. Chapman reached on an infield single, and then he took second to lead off the inning on an errant throw by Rogers. So that allowed Chapman to take second. Schmitt just needed to move. He didn't have a productive out. He didn't get Chapman over to third. What you're talking about, get the ball over to the right side. He struck out in that situation. Then Matos grounded sharply to short, and Chapman ran right into it. He easily threw him out at third. And you're taught when that happens, if the ball is hit in front of you, you hold. If it's hit behind you, you take off because you got your secondary lead. Well, Chapman That was poor base running by Chapman. But had Schmitt been able to get a productive out and move him to third, that's probably a run scored on Mata, unless, they may have been playing the infield in at that point. But still, we talk about, fundamental ball. There's so many opportunities during a game to do things right fundamentally. And the Giants have been doing those for the most part this year. But that's an area that, and look, guys, the Giants struck out 16 times today. And they struck out 16 or 17 in game 1 of the season. They won both of them.
Still a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. The law of averages will catch up with you. They continue to strike out in double-digit area up there, Baker's dozen. They are going to lose the majority of those games.
Yeah. And just to double down on, the Giants coming home, they're facing Seattle, who has one hell of a starting rotation. All those guys are nasty. So the Giants keep putting up 6, 7, 8 runs at home against that staff. Woo.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. I will be over in an hour. Marty Lurie and friends over on YouTube. I will be back on that show. So make sure you head on over there and check that show out. I don't know. I believe Glenn Kuiper will be on the show tonight. And let me see where I'm looking for the little.
Are you still doing a show tonight, Dan? After?
Yeah, we're going to do a wrap up tonight, 7:45. It'll be we'll do a quick wrap up of the series. So again, we want to thank our sponsor, Chapman Law Group. Check out Chapman Law Group. Also, guys, if you need any services, scrolling down at the bottom, Los and I, we come on here, we take, time today, actually taking out some of the work time. But if you're looking to grow your money and I just got a client's statement in the mail yesterday. He made 10% last year. And the beauty is, if the market had crashed on him, he wouldn't have lost anything. He would have made 0, but because the market went up, he got 10%. And so he grew 10%, and he got a 10% bonus to start with. He had $72,000, $73,000 a year ago. He gave me $73,000. It's now $90,000 in 1 year. So he gained 10% on the bonus and then 10% interest. So I can help you out. Give me a call, 925-628-9966. That's Secure Money, my company. Also, Los, if you need rates, you need to get into a home, or you need to refi, you need some cash out, you need to do some kind of HELOC where you need home equity line of credit, give Los a call at Flex Funding, 888-960-7233. Guys, hey, look, we do some other advertising on other shows out there, and we get calls. So call us from this show. You guys know us. Okay. Give us a call if you need help with either getting a loan or making your money grow. I also do life insurance as well. So if you don't have life insurance, you should have some, especially if you've got a wife and kid or kids. You need life insurance. Maybe you need more life insurance. Give me a call. I'll help you out.
Yeah, and don't hold it against us because we've been right about the Giants the last few years, and maybe you were not right. I mean, us being right kind of shows we know what we're talking about. So if we know what we're talking about in sports, we know what we're talking about in business. So trust us from that aspect.
Yeah. And Lou, tell us about what you do with your company before we head out.
Sure. I help people go to bucket list events. Like I'll be in Augusta this weekend, getting ready for the Masters, Final Four, Super Bowl. I don't know if you know, the Super Bowl is going to be in Santa Clara next February. Another great event, Waste Management Open that everyone sees. So, a lot of the bucket list events, especially with the Olympics coming to LA in 28. And of course, a lot of people probably in the chat, World Cup in 26. I'm here if I can help you out. So let me know. And of course, if you guys ever want to see the Giants, instead of just talking in the chat, we have access to front row seats if you're lucky. If you mention
there
Dan
you go, front row.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome that you can do that, Lou. Just one last thing before I go. I'm wearing this. Obviously, I've had this shirt for a long time, and
huge loss.
One of my absolute favorite actors of all time. Just loved him. Hated to see what happened to him with his throat cancer.
Yeah.
Real, he passed away today at 65. Just iconic roles.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Val Kilmer passed away of pneumonia.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
so Doc Holliday in Tombstone, The Doors, Heat. He was in Heat with De Niro.
Heat was great. Iceman,
and of course this role as Iceman. Just rest in peace, Val Kilmer, man. Love the guy.
Wow, that's a shame. Yeah, man.
Real genius. Guys, one of his best.
Giants, moved to 5-1. I will be on again over at Marty Lurie and Friends on YouTube. Check that out at 6 o'clock. Let's see. Subscribe to Marty Lurie and Friends Talking Ball on YouTube and NorCal Sports Network. Yeah, subscribe here. Make sure you like the show on the way out of here, guys. We really do appreciate you being here. We'll be back at 7:45 tonight. Okay, it'll be just a wrap up. And but hey, when the Giants are smoking hot and playing good baseball, we all want to jump on and talk about it because we'll be here, win, lose, or there's no draw in baseball, but we'll be here. So all 162. So
we will be here because when the Giants come to play, it's bye, baby.
I wish I'd play that one out, man. That would be awesome. But anyway, guys, thanks so much. Hey, go check me out over at Marty at 6 o'clock and then back here at 7:45. Have a great night, everybody.